Max B when he gets out?
Max B.
Okay.
Max, out of here. People don't play with me with that conversation. Ain't nobody can tell me nothing about that. That's the first thing I say. You heard?
Okay.
That's how you feel. That end the deal for anybody. There ain't no Max talking about conversation. Period.
Max B just came home after 16 years behind bars, and within weeks he's already selling out shows back to back, moving horsepower merchandise with Camron and Mase, and getting cosigns from French Montana to ASAP Ferg. But here's the thing nobody's talking about loud enough. Jim Jones was the one who originally signed Max B. Jim saw the vision when Cam didn't. And now Max is standing right next to Cam and Mase while Jim is on the outside of this whole reunion looking in. So the question everyone's asking is whether Jim Jones is feeling some type of way about how this whole situation played out, or if Max B is just smart enough to align himself with whoever can help him win right now. Let me walk you through exactly how we got here, because this story has layers that go back decades. Max Bigavelli, also known as Charlie Rambo to people who really know him, touched down from prison in November 2025 and immediately started moving like he never missed a beat. The energy around his release felt different from other rapper homecomings. This wasn't just about someone getting out and trying to rebuild. Max came home to a fan base that waited nearly 2 decades to see him perform live. He never got to tour his classic material because he got locked up right when his wave was peaking. So when he announced his first show at Brooklyn Paramount, tickets sold out in less than 24 hours. They literally had to add a second date and called it the double back because the demand was that crazy. That type of momentum is rare. We're talking about NBA YoungBoy level hype for someone who hasn't dropped new music in years and couldn't perform during his entire prime. The streets were genuinely starving for this moment, and Max delivered exactly what people needed. He's running through clubs, packing venues, and bringing back that smooth Harlem sound that a lot of people feel has been missing from New York hip-hop.
I'm asking you, and I asked you before, how do you feel about getting past differences with certain people?
I'm petty.
Right, hold on, because I'm trying to, hold on.
It's not just nostalgia either. There's something about Max B's style, his melodies, his whole approach to music that carved out its own lane. People call it the wave for a reason, and that wave never really disappeared even while he was gone. Artists have been borrowing from that sound for years. The fact that both Brooklyn Paramount shows are set for January 2026 and already completely sold out shows you the kind of anticipation that's been building. We're talking over 6,000 tickets gone in a matter of hours. Most artists who do serious time come home and have to work their way back up slowly, rebuilding their audience piece by piece. Max B skipped that entire phase. He came home to instant demand, instant love, and instant opportunities. That tells you everything about how his music connected with people and stayed relevant even while he was locked away. But Max didn't just come home and start booking shows randomly. He made a calculated move by linking up with Camron and Mase, 2 Harlem legends who have successfully transitioned into media and business. Cam and Mase run one of the hottest shows in hip-hop culture right now. Their platform has serious reach, their influence is undeniable, and they're both sharp when it comes to business. For Max to step right into that circle immediately after coming home shows he understands how the game works in 2024 and 2025. It's not just about the music anymore. It's about building a brand, moving merchandise, creating content, and staying visible across multiple platforms. Within days of his release, Max appeared on Camron's Talk with Flea podcast alongside Mase. That moment right there was significant because it showed the world that these 3 were officially moving together. It wasn't just a random interview or a quick photo op. This was Cam and Mase giving Max their platform, letting him speak his truth, and welcoming him back into the fold publicly. That kind of cosign matters in hip-hop, especially when it comes from people who have the credibility and infrastructure that Cam and Mase have built. The horsepower line that Cam and Mase have been pushing fits perfectly with what Max B represents. They're rolling out products, doing heavy promotion, and Max is right there in the mix representing the brand at every turn. You see him in footage wearing the gear, talking about it in interviews, fully bought into the movement.
You've had past differences with people. Some people you was able to get past that, right? Max B coming home. Where we at with that? Are you able to get past that?
No. Now you can pass now.
It's smart business on both sides. Cam and Mase get to tap into Max B's energy and the excitement around his release, while Max gets immediate access to an established platform and business infrastructure. That's the kind of strategic thinking that can extend a career way beyond just dropping music. Now here's where the history gets interesting and relevant to everything happening today. Camron and Max B go way back. They grew up in the same building in Harlem. Cam has talked openly about knowing Charlie Rambo personally, seeing him around the neighborhood, but not initially recognizing his talent as an artist. And Cam owned up to this himself on his show. He admitted he fumbled the situation by not taking Max seriously when he first approached him about rapping. In Cam's defense, Charlie Rambo was known as the funny guy, always joking around, always clowning. So when he said he wanted to rap, Cam didn't see the vision. He thought Charlie was playing around like he always did. Cam even recalled the specific moment when Max came to him talking about wanting to get into music. Max apparently said something about clicking his heels together like Dorothy, trying to make the rap thing happen, and Cam just brushed it off thinking he was joking. That's the kind of detail that makes this story real. It wasn't that Cam was hating or didn't want to see Max win. He just couldn't separate the kid he grew up with from the artist Max was trying to become. That's a common mistake people make when they're too close to someone. That's when Jim Jones comes into the picture. Jim saw something in Max B that Cam missed. Jim had an outside perspective because he didn't grow up with Max the way Cam did. He could hear the music objectively without any preconceived notions about who Charlie Rambo was as a person. So Jim signed Max B to his ByrdGang label back in 2006 and helped launch his career during that era when Dipset was running New York. That relationship between Jim and Max was significant, and it's why some people are now wondering how Jim feels watching Max align so closely with Cam and Mase. But that relationship between Max and Jim didn't end well. They had a falling out in 2008 over money and other business issues, and things got ugly between them.
We can get past that now. You want to get past it? Or you want to dive more into it? Or you want me to tweak it?
I want you to pass it at some point.
You want me to crash out?
I definitely don't want you to crash out because I don't want to crash out. Now, what I want for myself, I want for my brother.
They went from collaborators to legitimate enemies, taking shots at each other publicly and building real animosity. So it's not like Max owes Jim some kind of eternal loyalty just because Jim signed him originally. Their history is complicated, and Max has every right to move however he wants now that he's home. You have to understand the current dynamics to see why this matters. Jim Jones has been beefing with Camron and Mase for years now. There's real tension there, not just rap beef for entertainment. They've gone back and forth publicly, taken shots at each other on songs and in interviews, and the relationship between all three of them is legitimately fractured. Earlier in 2025, things heated up again when Cam had 50 Cent on his show, which Jim apparently took as disrespect. Then Jim went on another podcast talking about how he watched Mase mistreat Cam back in the day, which just added more fuel to the fire. This isn't old beef that faded away. This is active, ongoing tension that gets reignited regularly. So when Max B comes home and immediately links up with Cam and Mase instead of reaching out to Jim, it sends a message whether that was the intention or not. Jim might feel like he's being disrespected or left out after being the one who believed in Max first and gave him his initial platform in the industry. That's a legitimate feeling if Jim has it, because history matters in hip-hop. Who put you on? Who supported you early? Who believed in you when nobody else did? Those things are supposed to count for something. But from Max B's perspective, you can understand the move. Cam and Mase have a functioning business partnership right now. They have a show, they have products, they have momentum, and they're both actively working together. Jim Jones is doing his own thing separately. If Max is trying to maximize his opportunity,
I appreciate it.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's too much money out here, it's too much life out here, and I like to do the things that I like to do. Ain't nothing feel better than living right now.
You're right.
opportunities after being gone for 16 years, it makes sense to align with whoever has the best platform and infrastructure to help him rebuild. That's not personal, that's practical. Max doesn't owe anyone loyalty just because of history, especially considering how badly things ended between him and Jim back in 2008. Interestingly enough, Max has said publicly that he wants to move past the beef with Jim. He told Drink Champs that he's a new man now and wants to start fresh. That sounds like someone who's genuinely trying to leave old drama behind and focus on building something positive. But the question is whether Jim is ready for that. Based on comments Jim made back in October 2025, it doesn't sound like he's in a forgiving mood. He said he's petty, that he doesn't forget even if he might forgive, and that he's not ready to get over certain things. That tells you Jim is still holding on to whatever tension exists between them, which means a reconciliation might not happen anytime soon, even if Max is open to it. Cam has been public about making things right with Max now. He's acknowledged that he should have seen the talent back then, and he's giving Max his flowers while he's still here to receive them. That means something in hip-hop culture where people often wait until someone is gone to show them respect. Cam is actively putting Max in position, bringing him around the right people, and helping him navigate this new version of the industry. That's valuable, and Max clearly appreciates it based on how much he's been promoting the Horsepower brand and showing up for Cam and Mase. The bigger picture here is what this means for Harlem and New York hip-hop in general. There was a long period where Harlem felt disconnected from the mainstream despite producing some of the most influential artists and cultural moments in hip-hop history. Cam talked about this openly. He mentioned how frustrating it was watching other boroughs consistently put artists on while Harlem struggled with unity. Too many egos, too much internal division, not enough collaboration. Queens had a long list of legends, Brooklyn had its own movement, even the Bronx stayed active. But Harlem couldn't maintain consistent momentum.
Being alive and getting money and fucking waking up.
No better feeling. There's no better feeling ever in the world.
Huh?
It's no better feeling ever in the world.
Feeling in the world. So what I'm saying is that
there was literally a drought where people started saying Harlem was cursed. After artists like Dougie Fresh and Kool Moe Dee, it seemed like nobody from Harlem could break through nationally for years. Then Mase came and broke that drought, and eventually Camron and Dipset brought Harlem back to prominence. But even during those successful eras, internal conflict prevented Harlem from completely dominating the way it could have if everyone worked together. Max B coming home and linking with Cam and Mase represents a shift toward unity, at least within one faction of Harlem hip-hop. They're showing what's possible when people actually work together instead of competing or beefing with each other. The energy around this reunion feels genuine, and fans are responding to it because they've been waiting for New York to feel like New York again. The city has been searching for that authentic sound and energy for years, and Max B brings exactly that. His style is distinctly Harlem, distinctly New York, and it reminds people of an era when the city controlled the culture. Max has already announced he's working on new music, multiple projects reportedly in the works, and people are genuinely excited to hear what he sounds like after all this time. Will he stick with the wave sound that made him famous, or will he evolve and try something different? Either way, there's built-in interest because of the story behind his return. Artists who come home after long prison bids often struggle to reconnect with audiences, but Max has an advantage because people never stop checking for him. His music stayed relevant through other artists who were influenced by his style, and now he gets to reclaim that wave and push it forward himself. The business side of what Max is doing might end up being just as important as the music. He's not just an artist anymore. He's a brand, a story, a cultural moment, and he seems to understand how to leverage all of that. The Horsepower merchandise, the sold-out shows, the media appearances, the strategic partnerships. Max is moving like someone who studied how the industry works while he was gone and came home ready to execute a plan.
Go, Carter. You should be the first one. Go.
You can't get too close.
Let his kids go. Where's daughter?
That type of intentionality usually leads to longevity, which is what he needs after missing so much time. As far as Jim Jones goes, nobody knows exactly how he feels about this situation because he hasn't spoken on it publicly in detail since Max came home. But you can imagine it's complicated. On one hand, Jim probably respects Max's hustle and understands why he's making the moves he's making. On the other hand, Jim put Max on originally, believed in him when others didn't, and now he's watching Max build with his enemies. That's a tough pill to swallow regardless of how much business sense it makes. The history between Jim and Max matters, and it's possible Jim feels like that history is being ignored, especially given how Jim has talked about being petty and not forgetting things. But here's the reality. Max B doesn't have time to navigate old beefs and politics. He's in his 40s now, he just did 16 years, and he needs to move fast to make up for lost time. If that means working with Cam and Mase instead of Jim, then that's the decision he has to make for himself. Nobody else can determine what's best for Max's career and future except Max. The hip-hop community might have opinions about who he should or shouldn't work with, but ultimately he has to do what makes sense for his own goals. The ideal scenario would be everyone sitting down at the same table and figuring out how to move forward together. Harlem would benefit from that type of unity. New York would benefit from it, and the culture would benefit from it. Imagine if Max, Cam, Mase, and Jim could put their differences aside and all work together. That would be powerful not just for them individually, but for what it represents about growth, forgiveness, and moving past old conflict. But that's easier said than done when there's real animosity between people. Sometimes beefs run too deep to fix, and people have to accept that and move on separately. What we're seeing right now is Max B making the most of his second chance. He's getting love from major artists, he's selling out venues, he's building business relationships, and he's reminding everyone why people cared about him in the first place. Whether Jim Jones feels a certain way about it or not, Max is winning right now, and that's what matters most. After spending 16 years in prison, the only thing that should concern Max is building the best possible future for himself and his family. If that means working with Cam and Mase, then so be it. If at some point it makes sense to reconnect with Jim, that door might open later. But right now, Max is exactly where he needs to be, doing exactly what he needs to do. The wave is officially back, and whether everyone's happy about how it's happening doesn't change the fact that it's happening. New York needed this energy, Harlem needed this moment, and Max B is delivering on the hype in a major way. The next few months will show us whether this momentum can sustain itself once the initial excitement dies down. But so far, every move has been calculated and effective. So what do you think? Is Jim Jones feeling some type of way about Max linking with Cam and Mase? Or is this just smart business that everyone should respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to keep up with stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video. Thanks for watching.